Hi, welcome to the Jenkin Fury podcast episode 2. Today we're going to start on a solid subject and try not to ramble as much as the first episode. Something that's burning on my mind that I really want to talk about is, what is masculinity? And why does the term toxic masculinity get thrown around so much? Especially by people that aren't even men. People that don't even understand. So, I guess we'll begin with that. What is a tough guy? And is a tough guy truly desirable? Men have a hard enough time as it is trying to understand what their brains are, how they work specifically. Being a tough guy in general you might associate muscles, aggression, facial hair, I don't know, chest hair, just a bigger dude. But is any of it real? Is the tough guy a real thing? Or is it just confused men who don't know how to control their emotions? I know so many aggressive men who don't understand their emotions. They can't speak up about them. Half the time I think that they don't even know that they're going through shit. But they are. It's clear from an outsider's point of view looking in. These people are struggling, yet they react with such aggression. They're so angry. And it's not at all healthy. It's not a healthy way to be. But how do you fix people that don't understand they're broken? How do you do that without getting punched in the face? You're trying to tell a broken man that they're broken, or that they're struggling, or that they should seek help, is only met with more aggression. It's a very monkey instinct to be. And don't get me wrong, I've been aggressive in the past. I've been a very fucking angry person, and from time to time I still do get angry, but I have outlets. I have ways that I deal with my anger that's not violent. You can be angry, that's fine. No one's saying you can't be angry, but to be violent and to act out and to hit people, to hit your fellow man. Let's not even get started on laying hands on a woman, which we'll talk about soon. But to hit another guy, is it really the right move to make? Does it reflect well upon you? After beating the shit out of another guy, are you honestly proud of yourself? Are you honestly proud of what you've done? And when I say beating the shit out of somebody else, I mean not in a sporting, MMA environment. I mean on the street, in a club, just hitting some fucking guy because you're a bit pissed off, or you can't handle your alcohol, and you think some guy's looking over at you weird, and you smack him in the fucking face. It's not smart, man. You ain't smart. It's not the right thing to do. Yet so many people get in trouble for doing it, and so many people get really badly injured from even one fucking punch. Okay, yes, the coward punch. We've all heard about the coward punch. Hitting someone from the side or from behind when they're not expecting it, and then their head rebounds off something else, maybe the road. In really extreme cases, the side of the gutter. Everybody's seen those fucking pictures of the guys with the curved heads. Their skulls are all fucked up. All these things can be avoided. They can be avoided. But most dudes choose not to. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. Then why are you angry all the time? Why is everything in your life met with negativity and aggression? You can't sit down and chat about it? Why? Because you're too manly? You're too manly to chat about shit that's fucking with you. It's not manliness, man. That's fucking weakness. Oh, you're weak for talking about shit. Are you though? Or are you stronger for that? Are you stronger for opening up and expressing how you truly feel and getting to the bottom of some of the fucking problems at least? You think you're tough because you're violent? You're wrong. You are wrong. Hitting another guy makes you a fucking asshole. If that guy was being a fucking asshole, why don't you think of another means of dealing with it instead of just hurting them? You know, you've got to begin to understand that no one thinks you're cool. The iconic fucking image of a tough guy, muscles and chiseled jaw and, you know, and maybe a stoic expression, nothing bothers me, nothing gets to me. It's dead. It's done. You're allowed to seem like a tough guy because it's a persona. It's not a personality. It's a facade. The tough guy in and out doesn't exist. It's not a thing that exists. It is literally a facade. You want to go to the gym and do weights and get massive? Cool, man. That's fucking awesome. Hats off to you. Getting healthy, looking great. Fuck yeah. But do you also want to deal with the issues that are slowly overcoming you? The issues that, you know, creep up on you when you're trying to fucking sleep at night? It's not manly to keep them down because one day you might do something fucked up. You might do something disgusting. And maybe you won't, but maybe you will. So to get to the bottom of something that's eating away at you, I think that makes you more manly. You know, hats off to you for dealing with problems head on instead of bottling them up. How many people do you know bottle up their fucking issues? They don't talk about shit. Nothing ever affects them. You know, hardly ever batter an eyelid. They're the people you should be watching out for. Really. Violence is not the fucking answer. And if you believe that it is, you need to fucking reassess your situation a little bit. You're not smart. You're just too stupid to have a fucking debate or argument. Really. If you want to go out there and knock people out for fun or start fights for no fucking reason, you're a cunt. You're a fucking asshole. Now, let's not even get to the fucking hitting women part, because that just shouldn't exist. That literally should not exist. And if you do that, if you do lay hands on females, you aren't a man. You are not a man. You're a little boy acting out. You're a little violent boy who has no control over his situation. And a little boy is what you'll remain for the rest of your life, little boy. You know, we have problems to deal with enough. Violence against other dudes, guys hitting guys, is fucked up. We should try to understand each other. You know? We should try at least. But then laying hands on women is a whole separate chat. It's a very deep, dark, separate chat. But it needs to be had. Because it is a problem. It's a looming fucking problem that seems to be getting worse. I don't understand. I know plenty of dudes who are your typical tough guy persona, but all of them are struggling with shit. Is there a way? Is there any way to... And the funny thing is, like, and it's not funny, but the funny thing is that these things, like, it's okay to be not okay, or it's okay to not be okay and shit. But it takes a long time for these things to take off. It takes years and years for these things to take off. You can't just make an ad saying it's okay to not be okay and then everything's fine. It takes a very long time for people to drill this into their heads, and begin to understand that, oh, maybe my problems can be voiced. Maybe I can go talk to somebody about this. I'm having a hard time understanding where this stress is coming from, and just trying to get to the bottom of why I'm violent, why I'm aggressive, how come every time somebody says this or that, I react in this way, and trying to reach the best version of you that you can be, not only for you, but for your family, for a future partner, for children, for your children. You might have them or you might already have them. But it's only good, focusing on yourself for a bit, there's only positive outcomes in that. Honestly, there is only positive outcomes from that. Now, the next part is honestly something I really don't want to talk about because it's dark, but it kind of needs to be said. But the message I have for the dudes that are violent against women, the guys that choose to use violence against women, I don't really want listening to this. This is more for the guys out there that are trying to get better, that are trying to better themselves and trying to understand themselves. But we need to talk about it because it's a real fucking thing. It exists, and it exists everywhere. Everywhere around you. There are women being abused by everyday guys. Confused men, confused little boys that are hurting your daughters, that are laying hands on your mums. Everywhere you look, there is abuse happening. And where do you start? If it's that fucking rampant, if it is plaguing all our communities of every class, doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, or whatever, there is violence fucking everywhere. And who's it mainly caused by? Us dudes. Maybe not me and you, but the guys around us. So how do you think that makes us look when your fucking mates are laying hands into their girlfriends or, just abusing women in general? Most of you probably don't know a fucking rapist because, if you do know a rapist, what are you doing associating with them? But, it's a predominantly male thing. And are you proud of that? It's fucking dark. It's dark and you might have the fucking, the parry argument, bounce it back. Well, some women are violent as well. Let's not go there. Because this argument is for us dudes. We're being painted as fucking trash. All of us are being painted for the crimes and the violence of those confused little boys around us. And I truly believe that it's up to you, the sensible fucking dude, to maybe talk some sense into the guys around you that, if ever you need a chat, bro, just let me know. Brothers lending a hand. And I know that there are so many fucking good dudes out there, because I know so many good dudes that would never do this. But then there's the counter. There are so many horrible fucking guys out there, and that just paints us all. That really paints us all. It's a tainted image that is hard to shake off once you've got it. Look at the world around you now. Hashtag kill all men. And these activist groups that are rising up and making us all look like rapists and making us all look like women abusers. You need to just stand back and let them do what they want to do. This will calm down if we fucking calm down. Why is there so many counter arguments towards it? They don't actually want to kill us all. They just want the fucking violence to stop. How can we not understand that? And you can call me what you want. If you want to get personal about this, then get fucking personal. Doesn't bother me. You can call me a simp or call me a sympathizer for fucking women, but I'm really trying to do this for us. trying to do this for us dudes. Like, I really give a fuck about my boys, my bros. I care about them a lot. I don't want to see them get in trouble. That's what I'm doing this for. It seems like a lot of blokes are having a really fucking tough time understanding this shit. So, if we can get this message, amongst us, then maybe it won't be so bad in the end. How would you feel if you were constantly being fucking targeted for abuse, for sexual abuse, for violence, being stood over, being dictated to, not being allowed to leave the house, guilt tripping? How would you feel? Really, take a bit of reflection. Just have a little bit of a look, man. Try to understand it. Try to be in their shoes for a little bit. That's all. There's no defending going on. I'm trying to fucking help. That's all. So yeah, maybe we should segue into something else. Something on a lighter note. Look, I'm sorry if that was a little bit hard, but it's difficult to see that every day in the news. Different articles, different things written about all men. It's highlighting all men. And that's why it pisses me off a little bit. So, I've said my part. I'm not going to say anything more now. Let's fucking change the subject. Let's talk about some shit. Where do you think humans came from? Originated from? Were we originally from planet Earth? Or were we from somewhere else? These are like the conversations that I love having with people, because everybody has a different theory, or everybody supports a different theory. It's really awesome to hear. Some people think the earth is flat. Some people think the earth is hollow. Some people might think the earth is flat and hollow. Who fucking knows? It isn't, but let's let them believe that. It's healthy to promote, multiple theories. And especially if those people aren't even going to leave the little country town they're from, who cares if they think the earth is fucking hollow or flat? They're not going to do anything with their fucking lives anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's when, the president of America or someone in very, very high power starts to believe that shit. Is when it starts to get a bit concerning. Because it's like, well, all bets are off now. We don't have to fly to the moon anymore because the moon doesn't exist. It's just a clear paper fucking cutout that you can't get to. Or, the amount of weird, bizarre theories you can dive into, the rabbit hole, the internet rabbit hole, is just endless theories. And if you are fickle-minded, if you're somebody that buys into these things easily, God help you. I don't believe in God, but God help you. Because the internet is going to be your eventual demise. Now, me personally, I like to follow the pre-Civ theory, the Younger Dryas theory. I think that's fucking awesome. There's a lot of really high qualified scientists backing it up, researchers, geologists, historians, philosophers, book writers, and most people might consider that pseudoscience and pseudo-archaeology. But it is definitely something to look into. It's definitely very fucking interesting, that's for sure. And the fact that they're building up an evidence portfolio to bring forward to rewrite history is pretty fucking awesome. No one else is doing that at the moment. No other crowd of people is trying that fucking hard to prove this existence that we never knew we had. It's really, really fucking compelling. They're trying so fucking hard, and they're finding constant evidence. That's the amazing part too. It's not like he said, she said, not about the he said, she said bullshit. They're actually finding evidence for all of the theories. For all of the, since the 90s, Graham Hancock has been talking about pre-Civ and megalithic structures and I think there's more to humans than what meets the eye, and it's finally coming out. The last decade has been absolutely amazing for the Younger Dryas cataclysm. Whether you support Robert Schoch's theory, which is it's called a coronal mass ejection. It's like the sun sneezing in our direction and severely fucking us up. Like, his JRE podcast is actually really fucking interesting. One of the most interesting. But that's, on par with a lot of most interesting episodes on the JRE, since he has like 1,600 fucking episodes and counting. But Graham Hancock is one of my favorite people. I'm absolutely fascinated by his theories and what he has to say, and everything that he says I love. I just love listening to him talk. He is a really fucking special dude, one of the geniuses of our time, and he deserves a platform to fucking talk on. He really does, because all the shit he is talking about, he has evidence for. It's not like, I believe there is something here, I believe that. No, he did once believe it, and then he found the evidence for it. And the amount of people trying to deplatform him or write him off as a pseudoscientist is actually really fucking shit. It's really, because what happens when all these historians, these older professors die? It leaves the gate open to rewriting history. It does. The orthodox history as we know it is they're attempting to prove it wrong, and it's gonna work soon. It's working. They have the evidence to prove a new history. They're rewriting history, and it's so fucking exciting to see, because everything that you were taught in school about history, ancient history, not so much the documented history of the Romans and stuff, and the plague and the Dark Ages, Middle Ages and whatnot, more the megalithic history, when you were told that there were hunter-gatherer civilizations. There actually weren't. There were fully formed societies that were smart, if not smarter than us. They did shit. They definitely did shit that has complexed us, and we don't understand it till this day. There's shit on the Giza Plateau that makes no sense. There's shit in Peru that makes 0 sense. Mexico, India, there's caves in India that, if you've ever seen them, they will cook your fucking brain. How did they do that? Petra, how the fuck did they do that? And there's multiple theories that counter-argument, like they hired the world's best fucking chiselers to come in, and they paid them great money to chisel away, but yet it doesn't explain all of it. Yes, it may explain a little bit, but the sheer magnitude of work that these older civilizations did is so amazing. How in the fuck did they do this? If we can't replicate it, then how the fuck did they do it? And the teachings, the orthodox teachings in Egypt just don't back up any of the right history. The diorite stones I don't know if it's Aswan. It's somewhere. It's where the unfinished obelisk is. They get you to smack a rock with another rock, and they're like, that's how they did the obelisks. So how did they do the glyphs, the hieroglyphs? Rock, copper tools. Okay, what if they had a technology that civilized, because it was so long ago. Imagine civilizations have pillaged and broken in to all those sarcophaguses and tombs, and maybe they did find tools, but they didn't understand them. They melted them down and made swords out of them, or made something else out of them. And we come along and we're like, well, there's nothing here worthwhile to look at, so the Egyptians must have made it. Well, the amount of times those tombs were broken into, pillaged, blown up, destroyed, just wrecked. We were the last to the party. We get the dregs. That's all we get. So we really don't get to make the decision whether we're more advanced than them or not, because we truly don't know. And the more I look into this Younger Dryas megalithic, theory, this hypothesis, whatever, the more I love it, I understand it, I'm into it. Like, I truly believe this is awesome. I'm not trying to turn you on to anything you don't want to. It doesn't matter. If you want to research it, go look into the pre-sieve yourself. I don't want to turn you on to anything, because this is my own little personal fucking pathway in life. But it eventually will be too big to ignore, because it is a compelling argument. It really is such a compelling argument that we really have no idea about the earth we stand on. We don't know. We have no idea. We just think because we have technology in front of us, we must be the best. We must have been the best to ever come. But, the earth has proof. It has scarring of multiple extinction level events. We've been here a lot longer than we fucking think we have. We've just been restarted constantly restarted. And Graham Hancock has stated that we are a species with amnesia. We forget our prior existence. The Bible, I'm not a believer in God. I don't care about any of that shit. But how much of the Bible is real versus how much is storytelling? And is it like a game of Chinese whispers? Did it begin with a solid story and then different renditions of it over the course of history has changed the story in increments to the point where it's now nonsensical? It's definitely something to look into, but how do you look into that? How would you revert the Noah's Ark story back to its original story? It's impossible. So, how much of the Bible is real? How much of it is stating facts? And then how much of it was just human intervention? Some guy came in halfway and just went, and this happened. And it's thrown the whole fucking story off. But people believe it anyway because, people are stupid. So, get your own knowledge up here. Honestly, do your own research. And then come to the conclusion of what you believe is the true reality. And then just coast along that. Do what makes you fucking happy, man. Because megalithic culture really makes me happy. I love the documentaries. I love the movies. I love talking about it. I love studying it. I love looking into it and just speculating on what it would have been like back then. What these cultures were like. And how they moved all these stones. And how they organized their societies. And what sort of technology they had that doesn't exist anymore. All the shit. All the speculating. It's just so fucking cool to do. So if you're still around, we've touched on our beginning part of the conversation, and then we moved on to pre-sieve, megalithic theories. Now, I kind of want to chat about fears. What's your worst fear? What scares the living shit out of you? Is it ghosts, aliens, mortality, multiple dimensions? Like, what is it? Is it cognitive decline? Lots of people are scared of deterioration. Lots of people are afraid of fading away before themselves. And look, I'll agree, that's a fucking horrifying revelation to have. One day I'll be old, as you will be old. And will you fade away? Or will you die with your cognitive function still intact? Will you know that you're dying when you die? It's a very real conversation to have, but also very confronting at the same time, because it is something that we all have to come to terms with eventually. And nobody truly knows how they're going to die unless they decide to take that upon themselves, which is always horrible. I guess another big fear that people have is what lies after death? Is there anything else after this? Is there a continuation? Is there a heaven or a hell, a paradise, a retreat, somewhere that you go after this life? The trade-off is the people who go can't come back to tell us. And how honest are those people that have near-death experiences? And I'm not saying that they're all bullshit, but when people say, I saw the light, I tried to go towards it, but then I woke up in a hospital bed. I was back. There is something else on the other side. Were they hallucinating? Did the pineal gland dump the DMT into their brains and they were merely tripping an afterlife? It is super interesting, because if there is an afterlife, is it just the continuation of a DMT trip that you're forever stuck in? Your brain is forever stuck in. While your body's decomposing, your signal is scrambled somewhere else. You're off somewhere else, never to be reconnected to your body again. Now, I've heard a lot of top scientists talk about the brain being just like a receiver for the signal and not the actual creator of the signal itself. Who knows if this is true, but it is really fucking cool. If we're receiving the signal and our brains are picking it up, where is this signal coming from? Where's central command? Where's the headquarters? Is it far away? Is it close? And what really gets to me is we have the true answer. We know what's really going on. But do you? Because if we believe you as the be-all, end-all, and we find plot holes in your story, you have once again let humanity down. You have once again fucked us over on our journey to find the truth. So everybody deserves their own journey to truth. If their journey of truth ends differently to yours, that's fine. We don't all have to follow and believe the same thing. We just have to believe in unity. But when people try to create the be-all, end-all religion and call out yours for being wrong, well, we're all wrong. None of us truly know what's going on. We just like to think that we know, because it provides us with closure to help us get through to the end. Because if we didn't have a belief in something, we'd all be fucked. We'd all still be monkeys. And maybe we are just fundamentally monkeys. Monkeys until the end. Maybe there is no more progression. Maybe we go backwards from here. Maybe this is the best we'll ever get. Maybe we all just destroy each other in the end. It seems like that more and more every day. You turn on your TV and all the news shows is people killing each other and conflict here and war there, violence and drugs, and nothing really that happy. Is this just the test server, the purging grounds for whatever is next? The people that do right on this planet with the time that they have get to move on to something special, and the people that squandered their lives and hurt other people and made other people's lives a misery will go somewhere else. We're fractured and split into the good and the bad. And the bad continuously fight amongst each other. And there's never any progression. It's just an endless loop of battle, violence, misery, agony, negativity, and death. While the positive, the happy, the people that chose to unify ascend, they move up, they go to a higher level of existence. These are all theories, but all things to be considered, because the world is a pretty sad and lonely place, and without hope and a belief in something, It's pretty fucking dull. Thanks once again to you for sticking around to the end of the Jenk and Fury podcast, episode 2. I enjoy talking shit, theories, whatever, and I hope you enjoy it too. And I hope to see you on episode 3 of Jenk and Fury podcast. Have a good one, guys.